Well, guys, it's time to see what insanity's coming from the media and political tosspots today, with a few more stories I thought deserved to be mentioned. So, with that being said, let's start off with Fraser Nelson in the Telegraph telling us we're a nation of immigrants like he's Owen Jones or something. Yes, this tit really thought it was a good idea to put out this bile because his foreign-born wife just got British citizenship, it seems. Now, I have no idea what he planned to gain by this, but either way, it's complete tosh because we're not a country of immigrants, or should I say, we wasn't 40 plus years ago. Of course, the Telegraph's comments section is filled with people telling him just how stupid he is, but that shouldn't really be surprising and might mean Fraser Nelson should be writing for The Guardian, not the Telegraph. Obviously, just because foreigners live here in the UK and you choose a foreign wife does not mean that this country is a country of immigrants, literally by any stretch of the woke imagination. He even admits this himself by the fact that he points out that ethnic minorities make up 14% of the population. That's literally proof we're not, and especially when you consider it's only 14% because of post-war government policy. It wasn't that way pre-1950s, let me tell ya. Obviously, it's the political and media class that want us to be a country of immigrants when we all know that most people in this country don't. In fact, I'd say everyone here except for Lefty Tosspots don't want that, but he has an agenda to push here, so facts and reality no longer matter. But you know what, enough of all that, let's move on like a fart in the wind to quickly deal with the Partygate nonsense that has now been flipped round onto Labour, and more importantly kept in hindsight Sir Keir Starmer himself.
So a woman can have a penis?
Look, I'm not...
Yes, the biggest champion of Boris Johnson resigning over lockdown parties is guilty of attending some himself with people like Angela Rayner, who we also recently found out is a bit of a hussy flashing her legs to Boris Johnson in the Commons chamber. Here in the Mail it states that Angela Rayner was at Keir Starmer's Beergate event despite the Labour Party denying it. So yep, a little party with some beer and cake making Labour laughable hypocrites, but is anyone really surprised by this? At the end of the day, it should be obvious that the rich and powerful ignored lockdown rules because of course they would. It's rules for thee and not for me with these politicians, but as I said, with Boris Johnson's Partygate crap I really don't care. Surely, of all the things these politicians have done wrong, attending parties in lockdown is literally the most insignificant of them all. The fact they ever voted for lockdowns and banning people from seeing loved ones should be the real scandalier that brings them all down, not a bloody party. The scandal in care homes or the delays to NHS treatment that will literally cost lives is what should be getting them all arrested, never mind kicked out of office. This is why I really don't care about the Partygate bullshit, even if I do find calling them out for it a little bit fun. It's as I've said before, I love how it wakes people up to the lies that we've been belt-fed like a dick over the past 2 years, but aside from that, I don't care because I expect it. When they told you to hide away to save Grandma, they was all living their best life, literally laughing at us all. Well, laughing at the gullible sheep who run around washing their hands, wearing a mask and clapping for the NHS. Now, moving on, but related to the restrictions, we have some MPs pointing out that care homes and hospitals who stop families visiting patients are actually breaking the law and they should stop it now. This is something I've been saying for most of the last 2 years because, as some of you know, we all have a human right to family life. Even convicted criminals have that right, which is why they have family visits and things like that. So doing this to the old or sick is beyond disgraceful. In fact, lockdown itself is illegal as it breaches people's right to family life along with common law and common sense, but human rights didn't matter between March 2020 and March 2022, it would seem. Shit, basic common decency didn't exist in the NHS between them days, because as the Telegraph states here, stopping people seeing their loved ones often made them more sick or kills them. This means it's a scummy thing to do, which, let's be honest, this government, parliament and NHS management are all responsible for at the end of the day. Never mind Partygate and all of that, that there is something they should all be arrested for, but they won't. It'll be forgotten about by most and swept under the carpet by those in power. Now up next and related to bat flu, we got reports in the Daily Mail that some Tory peer's home was raided by the old bill looking for evidence about bat flu PPE fraud. Yes, apparently this is related to some £203 million PPE contract given to a company formed in May 2020, which really should have set alarm bells ringing from the start if you ask me. Obviously, there was a crisis that needed to be taken advantage of, and it's not their money they're spending, so they weren't going to do that, was they? Now, naturally, the Tory peer herself actually claims to have no part in all of this, despite the guy who owns the PPE company attending her wedding in 2020, and the fact she referred the company to the person responsible for PPE procurement at the time, which obviously looks a bit suspect. Mind you, a lot of the contracts in 2020 were suspect, let's be honest, so it doesn't shock me that this one could be too. Now, up next, I need to highlight Sajid Javid being absolutely ratioed into oblivion when he tweeted about rolling out jab passports for 5-year-olds. Yes, their digital bat flu pass nonsense is now available for 5-year-olds because it's not about bat flu, it's about normalising the digital control things like this lead to. As you likely know, it's the first steps as a social credit system many have pointed out before, but in this video I want to laugh at him getting ratioed so badly it's actually embarrassing. Even more so when you remember that Twitter is full of lefty tosspots who love masks, control apps and jabbing kids. So for him to get ratioed like this tells me that the public in general on there have had enough of all of it and certainly don't think rolling it out for 5-year-olds is right. I mean, the fact he only got 94 likes compared to 3,500 plus comments shows how much things have changed in recent months, so while I despise what he's announcing, the post getting ratioed like this I really do love. Now though, let's quickly move on and mock the senile kitty-sniffing tosspot Joe Biden, because I got 2 stories here that I thought are worth mentioning. First off, and relating to Twitter, we have Biden announcing some new disinformation bureau that sounds like something out of Orwell's 1984 and has been roundly condemned by all. Well, all outside the Democrat Party anyway, but yous lot know what I mean. Now, obviously, the timing of this is a bit suspect considering Musk just agreed to buy Twitter with claims about free speech, but on top of that, we also have reports that the bint running this Ministry of Truth is the one who lied about Hunter Biden's laptop being a Russian plant. So yeah, very trustworthy and impartial leader, I'm sure you would all agree. But that's not all, because alongside his Ministry of Truth, it was recently reported that he went begging to Congress like Oliver Twist asking for more money, though not for the American public to ease the cost of fuel or that, but so he could send it to Ukraine. Yes, this brain-dead tosspot has been asking for another $33 billion so he can send it to his pal Zelensky, maybe so he can get the little 10% he's well known for at this point, because remember, you can't forget 10% for the big guy, can ya? But I would like to hear from American viewers just what they think about him sending this money over there. But anyway, back to the UK, we've actually got more government-funded woke lunacy involving the NHS, as the Mail states here. Government-funded report urges NHS to use terms chest-feeding and frontal birth instead of breast or vaginal. Yes, breastfeeding and vaginal birth is a crime against diversity, so the NHS should use these ridiculous woke terms that would make me laugh if I heard a doctor on earth say them, I've gotta say. But to really show the insanity of all this, it should be pointed out that these recommendations are based on the experience of 121 pregnant trans people, which then made the government-funded LGBT Foundation decide to tell the NHS to push this deranged nonsense. Yep, I know it's pretty bloody stupid, but as per usual it doesn't end there, because here we have some more that states. The LGBT Foundation also says some trans and non-binary people would benefit from having a private space in hospital to give birth, so that they're not made uncomfortable by seeing women. Oh, so trans people are uncomfortable being around women, is that what you're saying? Surely though that's the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard, while also sounding a lot like gender discrimination to me. Imagine a woman said she wanted a private room because there was a trans person in there or something. She would have screeching blue-haired tosspots trying to cancel her life and demanding she's arrested for a hate crime, but apparently the other way round is fine. Pure insanity, I'm sure you would agree, which actually leads us on to the next story, featuring yet more insanity that shows the decline of this country, the NHS, and maybe humanity in general. This one here is also in the Daily Mail and headlines student midwives are being taught at universities how to help biological men give birth in trans-inclusive manual, even though it's scientifically impossible.
You serious?
Yes, teaching them how to help biological men give birth is actually something being taught at a university in Scotland, because of course it's bloody in Scotland. The Maldo writes midwifery students at a top Scottish university were taught biological men could get pregnant and trans men could give birth even if they have a penis. Oh my god. Mail Online can reveal the £9,000 a year undergraduate course at Edinburgh Napier University included a woke module on caring for birthing people, because of course it bloody would. In a course book that has since been revised, trainee midwives were given detailed instructions on how to treat a male-to-female trans person during childbirth. Yep, male-to-female childbirth. What the actual fuck is happening to this country? Someone send in the asteroid. Humanity has passed its peak at this point. But you know what, guys, I'm going to end it there because these stories are actually driving me nuts. So once again, thanks for watching and I'll see you all in the next one.
Where